important. Okay, so let me start with regard to Hamiltonian cycles. Okay, Hamiltonian cycle of what needs to be done. Okay, so for that, let me take one graph. Yesterday you saw very clearly what is a thing related to Hamiltonian cycle. In very simple words, Hamiltonian cycle says that you are going to start and end in the same place. Okay, so how do you think it will be? It will be, if I take one example, the example will be very much like this, right? Simplest of example, A, B, C, D. Okay, and what is it? If you are having a cycle like this is the simplest of example that you can have. If you are having a cycle like this with all the names that are being given like this, okay, if you are starting here, can you come back to the same place? For this, what are the things that we took? The things that we took with regard to our, the things that we assumed here is a very simple fact that the starting and the ending point should be same. That's the first thing. Next thing is there should be any sort of repetitions. Okay, there should not be any sort of repetition. That's the second one. Then the most important part is you are going to start and at the same point, and there should not be any vertex that is sort of left out. No vertex left out. Okay, so that's a third point of it. So if you take this example, how we are going to do, there are many ways of doing it, right? So you can see start from here, and then again come back. So for this Hamiltonian cycles, you can sort of implement in two ways. First one is with regard to, of course, it should be a connected graph, otherwise it's not possible. Connected and directed graph also you can do, and also you can do for the next thing, which is nothing but connected and undirected graph. So this also it will work. Directed also it will work, undirected also it will work. Undirected is a more general specifications where you are going to come like this and going like this, both will be same. Okay, these things you can sort of keep in mind. Okay, now our job, today's job, is to make sure that we are getting to know the state space diagram or the state space tree of our Hamiltonian cycle. So for that, what is the thing to be kept in mind? We need to have a graph. So I'm going to write a graph. Okay, what is a graph? The graph basically is having these sort of vertices. Okay, so A, B, C, then again you have D, E, and of course you have F. Okay, and all of them should be connected, so I'm trying to connect it. Okay, you can see very clearly it is all fully connected. Now I told you yesterday also that a particular graph can have more than one Hamiltonian cycle. So Hamiltonian cycles now are not unique. It depends on the graph. Okay, it basically depends on the graph. See, if I take a graph like this, which basically runs through like this, okay, maybe A, then again B, then again C, okay, like this. And then say, can you have Hamiltonian cycle on this? For this, it's not possible, right? It is very much not possible because A to B, B to C. And from C, where do you go? You don't go anywhere. Or if you start with B, B to C, or B to A, then you don't go anywhere. So, but if I have a thing like this, then it is a Hamiltonian cycle, right? What are the edges you have? I have from A to B, okay, then I have from B to C, then I can even say C to A, which basically means the starting point and the ending point are both are same, okay, and it is nothing but your Hamiltonian cycle. So based on your input, it will vary. Okay, is there any other way? Is there any other way for me to figure out this? No, there's only A to B, B to C, and C to A. Of course, you can start with C, then it will become more like C to B, B to A, and of course A to C. You're just taking a mirror image of it, right? Doing just a mirror image of it, except for that everything remains the same, right? So this is based on the input, the way of doing the Hamiltonian cycle will obviously vary. Okay, so based, keeping this in mind, let me figure out the state space tree for this. Again, I'm telling you, each and every graph will have a cycle based on the type of graph it is. Sometimes it may be unique, sometimes it may not be unique. Okay, so you saw the yesterday's examples also that, when we take an example, which was, yesterday's example, you saw that, it used to have only one Hamiltonian cycle. Okay, why I'm saying all these things is because these things only are going to come in you even in your lab program. Okay, in lab program, we are not going to take such a very big one to trace because tracing itself will take a long time, right? Okay, So what we are going to do, we are going to take a small one. Small one means that itself will be taking close to around 3-4 pages of tracing. What we'll do, okay, we'll do that. Anyway, I'm going to send that also. Maybe again, it's, see, the problem is there's a lot of things happening. Okay, the background in the college, so you must be knowing what related to what and all. Your seniors getting the exams, and you know what is your conditions with regard to exams. Okay, but I'll not speak about that. Our job is to make sure that we are learning as much as possible. We are learning things, right? So there's a lot of work involved related to it. So that's the reason. Okay, I'm a little bit hectic in there. Otherwise, would have sort of come across with regard to your programs, the assignments, everything and all. But I've kept it ready. The only thing is there's certain small touches that needs to be given. Be giving it and I'll be sending it. Okay, so make sure that you're submitting all your assignments. Okay, in all the subjects before 8th. When I take assignments, you know what is the types of assignments you write for those 10 marks. That one. Okay, submit everything, clear up everything before 8th. Don't get into a trouble of because people will see for chances for to cut marks. That should not happen. Submit everything before 8th. I think your internal will get over by around 5, 6 and all. After that, you get 2 days of time. Submit it. Okay, anyone who's doing it anything later after that, there's always a probability or a possibility that you may lose marks, which should not happen, right? I'm talking about internal marks, and you know how internal marks are very important, especially now, right? Yeah, fine. That's a different story altogether. So let me sort of look into this. Now this is the graph that is given. How do I write a state space tree for this? First and foremost thing, I need to start from some place. Where do I start? I'll start with A. Okay, I'll obviously start with A. Then from A, you just check what is the thing I'm writing, okay, or what is the way I'm trying to do this. If you probably get to know that, then things will be becoming very easy. Okay, see from A, if I start with, if I want to figure out an Hamiltonian cycle, then what is the way of doing it? See, I can go to B, I can go to C, I can go to D. I can't go to directly go to E. That's not possible. B, C, D. Okay, it's basically B, C, D. That's the 3 options I can have to figure out my Hamiltonian cycle. See, what is the thing I'm saying? I am going to write a cycle. I'm going to figure out a cycle. And I'm going to do it for backtracking. Okay, which basically means I'm going to figure out all the possible solutions. Whichever solution matches, good. Whichever doesn't match, I'm going to kill it. Bounding function. What is the bounding function here? The bounding function is very simple. First bounding function here is, or the bounding constraint condition here is, no vertex should be repeated. Always keep that in mind. No vertex should be repeated. And also the next thing is source destination. Both should be same. Third one is all vertices should be visited. Okay, there's no denying that all vertices should be visited. So keeping all these things in mind, we need to write our state space tree. Okay, that's very important. See, if you know the state space tree, you know how to write an algorithm. If you know how to write an algorithm, then the program will become easy. Okay, the nodes, everything is there. Again, it's a, what do you call that, spiral bind nodes. Okay, so people who come on Monday, I'm pretty sure that you see the timetable and all. If you're coming for the lab, you know what is the time you need to come. Before that, okay, if you come, again, classes will be online because not everyone will be in the campus. Okay, so after that, lab. You know that, see the timings, based on that, schedule your things. And before coming to it, you know what are the certificates, all those things which you need to bring, you bring that. Don't get into trouble just because you don't have that, this and all. Okay, so let me sort of look into this. From A, what are the possibilities I can have? The possible, one second. From A, what are the possible? Yeah, from A, I can go to 3 places. Okay, or I can try to form the cycle from 3 places. Okay, B, you have C, and of course a larger aspect of it called D. Okay, from B, see, with regard to B, if I go with B, what are the options I can have? I can go to A. Already I've come from A, so there's no need for me to write. From B, I can go to C, I can go to E, I can go to F. So can I write that entire thing like this, that I can go up to C, then I can even go to E, okay, and I can go to F. Okay, these are the ways I can draw with regard to the B. After this B, C, E, F. Okay, this is the way I'm going to write it. Then if you take from C, what are the ways I can go? From C, where and all I can go? I can go to A, but from there only I came. I can go to B, from there only I came. So what are the other two possibilities? D and E. Can write that very clearly that I can from C, I can go up to D or I can go up to E. Okay, then again D. See why I'm doing is backtracking is a DFS method, depth first search. So you need to first search your depth. Then again, you have to go for the next one. Depth means I'm searching for the depth now. From D, what are the possibilities? You can go to A. From there only I came. Okay, so you should not be choosing that, right? If you choose that, what is the meaning of that? That you know that you have left out everything. Other things you have left out. Okay, you need to see that only when all the vertices are fully done. For D, it's still not done, right? From D, check here. From D, I can go back to C. There only I came. Then E. So E has not done. So I can write very clearly the E. Now from E, is all the vertices done? See A, B, C, D, E. Okay, from E, where and does the next thing? Next thing is from E, I can go to where? I can go to C, D, B. So C, D, B, everything is over. The only thing remaining is F. So can I write that F here? Yes. Okay, I can see from D I could not go to F. Keep that in mind. From D there's no jumping to F and all. Okay, so see from E I came to F. So from F, see all vertices are done. A, B, C, D, E, F. All vertices are done. Yes. Is there any repetition? No. So two conditions are satisfied. The third one, that you have to go back to the same old source. Is that done? No, it's not done. So from F, I need to figure out, can I possibly go to A? Is there a direct path to A? No, there's not a direct path. Okay, there's no direct path. So what is going to happen? This entire stretch is not an Hamiltonian cycle. You are going to kill it. Okay, it's not going to be a Hamiltonian cycle for a very simple reason that you are not able to go back to the source. So you are going to kill that path. Okay, then again, let me go back. Okay, let me go back to the next thing. Okay, see from F, not possible. So from E, again, it was not possible, right? So from D, what were the other possibilities? You are the possibilities of going to various things, right? To A, C, E. From A, C, E only you came here. So that was not possibility. From C, come here to C. You had a possibility of going to E. So I need to figure out from E. From E, where and all I can go? I can go to D. Okay, see from E, I can go to D, then C, from there to there only I came, from B, there only I came. So from E, where and all I can go to D. Okay, then from D, where and all I can go for our next thing is with regard to A, there only I started, then C, I started there only, E, there only I started. Is there any other way I can go from D? No. All three things are fully visited. See, this one gets killed even more faster. Okay, it gets killed even more faster because you see the path A, B, C, E, D. So it's working through like this A, B, C, D, E. Okay, that's how this one. So what about this one? It's A, B, C, E, then D. Then from there where it goes? It has to go to A only. If it goes to A, F is not at all visited. Okay, see from D I can obviously go to A, but F will not be visited. Right? So that is not satisfying the one of the bounding function. So this will also get killed very fast. Okay, it's compared to this one, it gets first even more faster. So let me go back. See, now it's all done here. So let me go back here. From E, from B, A, B, then I've come here. From A, B, then I've come to E here. Okay, from E, what and all options I can have? From E, I have how many options? B only I have come, so I will not be touching that. From E, I can go to C, D, F, right? Can write that. I can easily write, I can write that from E, I can go to C or D or even F. So 1 second. See, this is a problem. Okay, so only I'm telling you when you're doing it. Okay, of course, when you're doing somewhere. Okay, you must be able to do it in a neat way wherever you are trying to do. Okay, maybe it will be very helpful for your, the 6 sem, 7 sem when you get a certain exam called gate. It will be very helpful. Okay, where you need to figure out how you need to figure out on the, and of course the technical aspect of it, the technical runs. Okay, where these things become very important. So when you're doing there, you have to do it in a very neat way. Okay, so let's look into this. Okay, A, B, E, C. Okay, then look into, I'll go with the depth with regard to C. From C, where and all I can go? I can go to A, it's already done. B, okay, it's already done. E, from there only I came, but I can even go to D. Can I write that very clearly that, I can even go to D. Okay, from D, where and all I can go? Can I go to E? But it's already done. Okay, I can go to A. I don't want to go there. Okay, it's, from there only I came. Then C, from there only I came. See, F is again still not visited in this. Correct? From here, F is still not visited. So you got C from the, it's not able to do it. So this will get killed again. It will change the color. Okay, see, again it will get killed. This path is also able to get killed. Now the next one, A, B, E, D. See, A, B, E, again D. From D, where and all I can go? I can go to C. Very clearly I can go to C, correct? Yes. Because C is still not visited in this. I can go to A, but A is the last part. I will not be taking it until it's last. Okay, I can go to E, from there only you came. So from C, where and all I can go? I can go to B. Okay, it's already there. A, already there. D, already there. E, already there. Can I go to F? No, not possible. It's just not possible. So I'm going to kill even this also. This is also not working for me. Okay, what's the next thing? Next thing is, again I have to check with regard to F here. So from F, where and all I can go? See, A, B, E. So A, B, E, F. I'll come here. Okay, I come to a place where A, B, E, F. Okay, from F, where and all I can go? I can go to B. It's already there. I can go to E. It's already there. Is there any other way I can go? No. So this gives even more faster. See, compared to the first one, where it almost took the last place, and then it was just because, maybe it's like, in 49th over you get all out. But these things, it getting all out in a 20th, 30th over itself. Not possible. Okay, it's just not possible here. So you can see the way I'm trying to do here. I'm figuring out a depth, and then I'm going back to search whether it is really working or not. If it's not working, I'm just killing it. Because the bounding functions, the bounding constants that says all visit into nodes should be visited. Number one. Number two, it should go back to the source. Number three, okay, no repetitions. Okay, now I'll go right here. Okay, I'll go right into this. See how many paths. Just because I took, B here, so many came. Now I'll go with regard to this and let me figure out this. Okay, from A to B, then I'm what is the option I have? I've gone to F. From F, what is the options I can have? From F, I can go to B. From there only I came. So I can go to E also. So can write that now from F, I can go to E. Okay, I can even go to E. Neatly I can go. Then from E, see from E, what are the options I can have? Options I can have is I can go to B, but there only I came. It's already visited, so don't touch that. I can go to C, I can go to D. Okay, F, there only I came. So C and D are the possibilities. So can write that E, from E, I can go to C and also I can go to D. Okay, then from C, right? From C, where and all I can go? I can go to A and I can go to B. But A and B are already visited. I can go to E also. That is also visited. So what is the next option for me? Next option is nothing but only D for me. Okay, it's only D for me. So from D, where and all I can go? I can go to C. Okay, already visited. I can go to E, already visited. Okay, then A, already visited. But all nodes are visited. Check. A, B, F, E, C, D. Already all are visited. Only thing is from here, where do you go? You go back to source. Check from D, there's a path to source. What is the thing here? This is my first path. Look into this. This is my first path. This is my first Hamiltonian cycle. A to B, B to F, F to E. Okay, F to E. Then again E to C. Then what's the next thing? C to D. Then D to A. This is my first Hamiltonian path. You can see very clearly that I'm starting with A, I'm ending with A. Very clearly, you can write it very clearly like this. I'm starting and ending at the same place, and I got my path also without any problem. This is my first Hamiltonian path. It's not necessary that it has to be the only path. Okay, it has to be the only path. No, this is one of it. Okay, now you check with regard to this. Okay, so you got A, B, F, E, C, D, E. That's my first path I got. Right? Let me go to the next one. Okay, see, this is fine. It's all fully done. Now it will go to the next thing. Just because it got it, it will not end the program there. No, it will keep on going. It will search till the entire things. Of course, C and D I'm not going to do because it will take a long time. So for this, one node, taking B as a second node itself, you see the combinations. Okay, then you check with regard to this E and D. Okay, with regard to D, from D, where and all I can go. From D, I'm starting right here. Okay, what are the options I can have? I can go to C, I can go to A. But A is a one which is already visited. I have to go to A only when all the things are visited. But C is still not visited. So I'll go to C. From C, E is already done, so I'll go to C. Okay, I'll write it neatly. You'll go to C. Okay, so I'm going straight into C now. From C, what and all options I have? First, I need to check whether all nodes are visited. A visited, B visited. Okay, E is also visited. D is also visited. Can I write our next thing? What's the next thing I write? I'll write this into the next one, which is A. From C to A, there's a path. Now check, all the nodes are visited. A, B, C, D, E, F. Again, I'm going back to A. Now this is my second Hamiltonian path. Check this. Okay, this is again my second Hamiltonian path. What is a path? A, B, check this. A, B, F, then E, then D, then C, then A. Okay, it's second Hamiltonian path. So from B, taking B as your second node. So basically starting right here, okay, and going to B to the second one. So this path, this is your initial path that you will have. You can see in the two things also, A to B is a common thing. Okay, next thing is, what is the next thing that is common? B to F, this is common. Okay, then the next thing which is common, F to E, this is also common. Okay, then of course it will change. From E, there's one path that goes to C, then there's one more path that goes to D. Okay, that one path that goes to D, but everything is sort of visited. Okay, so these are the two Hamiltonian circuits or Hamiltonian cycles which I got by backtracking. By using, what is this? This is nothing but my state space tree. Now using this logic, what is the logic we used? We used to check each and everything. We used to check the next node. We used to check the next vertex and check whether that particular vertex is still fully visited or it's still not visited. Using this logic, can I go and write the program? Okay, yes, easily I can do that. Okay, what is the program that's been written? First of all, we need to learn of how the program basically works, how the program looks. Okay, so this is your program, the last program of your DALAP, which is P12, right? P12, and you can see the things that is been happening here. Okay, 1 second, I'll just, hope you can see here. Please zoom in if you can't see. See, this is the class I have written. It's called Hamiltonian. You can give any name you want. And then what is the inputs? What is the outputs? First, that is the most important thing, right? So first thing, what is the input? The first input will be with regard to number of vertices. Okay, you're going to take from the number of vertices. Then what's the next thing? Based on that number of vertices, you are going to give values to your adjacency matrix. Okay, whether you are going to give, yes, but how way? In which way? You're not going to give like how you used to give for prims, skulls and all directly. No. First, you're going to first the program is going to take everything as 0. Then based on the edges what you give, it will be changing. Okay, so let me take one example, very simple example, because the tracing should not become very tough. Now, so let me take one very simple example once again. Okay, I'll be writing the graph first, and then we'll be moving into the next part. Okay, so let me write the graph first. So what will be the graph? The graph will basically be looking like this: A to B to C, and of course there's a path that has to be like this. Can I find the Hamiltonian cycle in this? Yes, I can find an Hamiltonian cycle in this. So there's no issue here. Okay, so this is my graph. So based on this, can I say the number of vertices? The number of vertices or nodes are equal to 3, correct? Yes. Then what's the next thing? Next thing, see very clearly into the program now. Okay, see, first thing it says is enter the number of vertices. So I'm going to give 3, that will be stored in your n. Okay, then it's saying for I is equal to 1, I less than n, j is equal to 1, j less than n, less than or equal to n. You're going to write all the values in the graph. The adjacency values of all the values in the graph will be initialized to 0 for each and everything. From starting from 1 to n, which is nothing but 3. All values will be put as 0. So you're not going to give the adjacency values. It is going to, by default, initialize it to 0. So what is going to happen? G I j is equal to 0. So what is the meaning of that? This entire thing. G of I j. What is I and j? I and j will be taking like this, right? So you have how many nodes? 3. So you got your values as 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. From 1 to 1, see, it clearly says, look into the program, okay? It clearly says ij equal to 0. So from what is the first thing? 1 less than equal to 3, true, comes here. J is equal to 1 less than equal to 3, true, comes here. So what is the first value? It will become 1, 1 equal to 0. Then j will be incremented. 1, 2 equal to 0. 1, 3 equal to 0. Then it will go out. 2 I will be incremented. Okay, I will be incremented. So 2 less than equal to 3, true. Come here, 2, 1 equal to 0. What is the meaning of that? All these values, 1, 1, okay, 1, 2, all these things, values will be, see, the way I'm filling up the values now, in the same old way only, it will be getting filled up. The adjacency graph of this is all fully equal to 0. Correct? But there is one more thing also that is becoming 0. What is that one more thing? Let me look into the program. Okay, x of I is equal to 0 if they are saying. What is this x? X is the one that is going to show whether what is the path of that Hamiltonian cycle. So initially all the values will be equal to 0. So till where xi is equal to 0. For I value starting from 1. So 1, 2, 3 will all be equal to 0. How can I write that? I can write it neatly like this. Can I write that x value here? I'll write like this. Okay. So this x value, it is more of your one-dimensional array. And what is the value of it? It starts from 1, 2, 3. See? 1 second. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. What is the value? Initially, every value will be equal to 0. What is this? This is nothing but the Hamiltonian path which I'm going to get. Whenever it becomes 1, there is a path here. That's all. Okay. Initially, all the values are equal to 0. X of I is equal to 0. So x of 1, 0. X of 2, 0. X of 3 equal to 0. Why? Because we have a for loop here. Okay. Look into this. We have a for loop here. So all the values will become equal to 0. Okay. After this, over. Fully over. Then you come to the next place. What is the next place that's saying? The next place clearly says that you need to write the number of edges. See, you need to give the, enter the edges. What are the edges? The edges will be stored in your edges like this. How? You're going to give from I is equal to 1 up to n. What is it? Edges is number equal to, what is the number of edges here? Number of edges you're going to give first. Okay, so can I go back here? What is the number of edges we need to write? The number of edges will be stored in your edges. How many edges we have? 1, 2, 3. N is number of nodes. Keep this in mind. This is nodes or vertices. Okay, edges is, and then they're saying enter the edges only. So I need to enter the edges. So what are the edges I give? A, B. Right? Next, B, C. Next, A, C. Some people may be thinking, why AC, why not CA? Yeah, both are same. Okay, however you give from A to C, the same way you have to give the next thing. So it remains same. Okay, it remains basically same. You don't have to worry. Okay, these are my edges. Right? These are my edges because you can see very clearly I've defined them as equal to 1. So which basically means I've named it as 1, 2, 3, 4. So can I change this also? It's it's the same thing only because in the program I've defined it as 1, 2, 3, 4. I can change this to as just 1, this as equal to 2, and this as equal to 3. That's all. All other things will remain same only. Okay, so what is going to happen? This entire thing, right? Second, this edges. So the way of writing the edges will differ, except that everything will remain the same. So what are the edges to me? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, second one. Okay, then 1, 3. Okay, these are my edges. So now look into the program that clearly says from I is C, enter number of edges. Okay, I have given 3. Okay, next. I is equal to 1 up to 3. I less than or equal to 3. True. Come here. Enter the edge I. First edge. I is nothing but 1. So enter the edge I means enter the first edge. Or enter the edge 1. So what is going to next happen? X1 is equal to the first value you give. X2 is equal to the second value you give. Okay. So X1, X2, X2 to X1 both will become 1. What is the meaning of that? See, clearly saying G of X1, X2, 1, X2, X1, 1. What's the meaning of that? That we are going to take that value. Okay, let me say this. See, I've given 1 and 2. What is going to happen? This is nothing but G of X1, X2, X2 that is becoming 1. G of again X2, X1 that is becoming 1. So what is the value I've given? The first value I've given is 1 and 2. So 1 and 2, G of 1 and 2. Where is G of 1 and 2? 1 and 2 is here. So that one is becoming 1. Then 2 and 1. Where is 2 and 1? Here. That one is, so change this. This one is again becoming 1. See, both are 1. Now you can see because there was an edge, I'm changing that. Nothing else I'm doing. 1 to 2, there's an edge, I'm writing it as 1. 2 to 1, there's an edge, I'm writing it as 1. Like this, how many you need to do? You need to do for each and everything. Okay, so look into this program. It clearly says I is equal to 1 up to edges. So the value will now become next. The value will be 2. Okay, next value will be 3. Like that, you have to do it for each and everything. If I do like that, okay, if I do like that, what will be this adjacency matrix? How the adjacency matrix will be changing? It will be changing in a very simple way. 2 to 3 changing. So 2 to 3, where it is here, it will change. 3 to 2 also change. So 3 to 2, this will also change. Then 1 to 3. So where is 1 to 3? Here. That will also change. 3 to 1. That will also change. So what will be the final value? It will be 1, 1, 1, 1. This will be your new adjacency matrix based on the connections. Initially, it was all 0, 0, 0. Now it has changed, right? It has clearly changed to the values to whatever you have given. You can very clearly check. See, you have given 3 edges, so there will be 6 ones because A to B, B to A, both are same. So there will be 6 ones that you can see in the adjacency matrix. Okay, entire thing over. Okay, it very much entire thing is all over. You can see very clearly, how it is. You can see all those things happening. Now the next thing is all the logic related to Hamiltonian cycle. Okay, all the logic that is related to Hamiltonian cycle will happen right here. Okay, before that, let me run the program and tell you the same thing happening. Okay, we'll see whether it is working properly or not before we move into the bigger aspect of tracing. Okay, so let me run the program. Yeah, you can see very clearly the output that's going to come. Okay, see, it's asking for the number of vertices. The first thing is I need to worry about is with regard to number of vertices. Okay, so I'm going to give that number of vertices. What is number of vertices? We have 3. Okay, I'll say enter. Then it's asking for edges, right? So what is the edges that we took? We took the edges as, see very clearly you can see here. Okay, see it's asking for, look into this please. Okay, it's asking for number of edges. So 3. Vertex also 3, edges are also 3. So I'll give that 3. Then ask for enter edge 1. See, very clear it's asking enter edge 1. So what is the first edge? 1, 2. Enter. It's asking for enter edge 2. So what's the next edge? 2, 3. Enter. Third edge 1, 3. Over. All 3 edges over. Then it should now say display the Hamiltonian cycle. Will there be only one Hamiltonian cycle? Let's see. There are 2 Hamiltonian cycles. What is that? 1, 2, 3, 1. Check. Look into our input and check. 1, 2, 3, 1. Okay. Okay. Then the second one. Second one clearly says 1, 3, 2, 1. So what is the way of doing it? 1. Then from here you go to 3, then 2, then 1. Okay. So look into the 2 types of Hamiltonian cycles which you got neatly. Okay, neatly you got 2 types of Hamiltonian cycle, 2 not types, 2 Hamiltonian cycles. Okay, if I take like this is all being 1, 1, 2, 3. What is the output you got? The output you got is very simple. First one is 1, 2, 3, 1. First Hamiltonian cycle. Second one 1, 3, 2, 1. Okay, which both are basically your Hamiltonian cycles only. Okay, now let me go into the tracing of the Hamiltonian path. Right? See, there are 2 things that you got to keep in mind here. This is a recursive call. Okay, the one that you're going to see now is basically a recursive call. Yeah. See, this is a recursive call. See from here. This is where does the entire logic of the program start? It starts right from here. Okay, first of course x of 1 is equal to 1 it's saying. So I need to initialize x of 1 is equal to 1. So let me go and do it. Okay, x of 1 is equal to 1. What is the meaning of that? The meaning is very simple. I need to start somewhere now. I'm starting right here. X of 1 is equal to 1 it's saying. Then it is saying the printing statement. Okay, nothing here. Hamiltonian cycle. Okay, then it says, see from here it is a recursive statement. It is calling the recursive statement called H cycle, Hamiltonian cycle. And where it is defined, you can see in the screen, it is defined right here. It is, all the values of H cycle is coming right here. Okay, it's a recursive statement. Clearly you can see. Okay, now can I go back to that? Can I go from here to this place? Yes. Okay, so before that, I'm just going to see, I'm going to show one tracing, that's all. Okay. Later anyway it will all be there in your notes, just one tracing, because we should not sort of learn the program without knowing the tracing aspect of it. Okay, it's not just here. Any subject you take, any programming subject, any lab you take, you need to know how it is done manually. Otherwise don't even learn it. Okay, you are trying to buy at things which is absolutely nonsense. Okay, let me go into this. What is it? Now you see the entire statement is all done with regard to x of 1 is equal to 1. Okay, then they are saying, what's the next statement? It's saying H cycle GN2. It's a recursive call. From here, function call. Remember function call. Second sem. Okay, there also you didn't write an exam, remember? Okay, so H cycle GN2. From here, you're coming right here. Okay, you got GN2. So let me go into this. What is the function call? Clearly says H cycle it is saying, and the value is also given GN2. Against G is your graph, N is the number of nodes, 2 is something. 2 is something. The 2 is given to the value. Okay, some value is given here. What is that? You can come here and you can see that entire thing happening, same thing here. GN2. What is 2? K. K you have given. So what is the value of K now? 2. K value is now 2. Because from here the value is coming it as 2 only. So now the K value is nothing but equal to 2. Okay, so let me go in 1 second. So let me now go into these values. Let me trace this one. Let me trace this statement. See, because I got the values of entire thing, right? So I'm going to figure out the state, what is known as the tracing part of this. So it says int of I. Okay, I. What is int of I? I is an integer value. Have they given value? No. Then it's saying while of true. What is meaning of while of true? It's an indefinite loop, infinite loop, which basically means it will be true. It is always true until and unless you say it is false. It is true, while of true. See, generally we used to take while and say we used to give the condition, right? Here the condition itself is a Boolean value, which is true. What is that to say? That is an indefinite loop, clearly saying that you keep on doing, that it is very much true, you keep on doing. So from here, again, go into the next recursive statement. I told you very clearly, there are two recursive statements. The first one was H cycle. The next one is next value GNK. Okay, so what is going to happen from here? H cycle GN2. Now it is going into the next recursive call called next value. Okay, it's called next value. What is it saying? GNK. What is K value? Keep this in mind before we move, sort of forget it, that K value is nothing but 2, because 2 only it came. Okay, 2 only it came, so K value is equal to 2. So from here, see again, this is a recursive statement. It's a recursive call, next value GNK. So it has to search where is GN next value GNK. That next value GNK is right here. See this. Now what is the next job? The next job is I need to again trace this one. So it is like this. The program is written in a very good way. What is the good way? It says from the main function, it says go to H cycle. Okay, then from H cycle, let's say go to next value. What is this H cycle saying? It is to figure out my Hamiltonian cycle. What is this value? It is to figure out the next value in the Hamiltonian cycle. Okay, look into the flow of how it is happening. Okay, from the main we came into H cycle, then from the H cycle it says go to next value. So from next value, where you have to go? You don't have to go anywhere. You have to sort of deduce this. You have to sort of execute this. Okay, so if I take those same old values and sort of do that, okay, what is going to happen? So let me take this a little bit further. Okay, because I need to trace that once, just one tracing, that's all. Okay, then probably I'll be ending the class. Okay, till then just listen to it. Okay, anyway, it's Saturday, you don't have anything to do. Okay, I wanted to take a class, in fact, okay, today, because the last 2 weeks been having meetings and all. Today I wanted to take the class, but again, now it doesn't have any purpose, right? So don't want to put more trouble into it, but because now you have certain other works to do to make sure that you're completing the syllabus, this semester, those works you can manage. Okay, anyway, next week also we have classes. Okay, see, I have made it a point that 2-3 questions that will be done in the next week. Okay, will be there for your third eye. Why? Because I don't want you people missing next week. There are 2-3 topics which are intentionally given such that you are going to attend next week classes also. Okay. So make sure that you are attending it. Okay. Nothing. It's branch and bound functions. We have 2 problems. Okay. Traveling salesman again, but in a different way this time, and assignment problem. Okay. 2 important problems which will be there for your internal also. Anyway, today or tomorrow I'm going to send that assignment questions. You will get to see. Okay. Yeah, let me sort of go into this. Okay, let me trace this again. Okay, let's last 5, 6, 7 minutes, nothing more than that. Okay, yeah, where is it? So what is the statement that clearly says xk is equal to x of k plus 1 modulus of n plus 2. What does this statement say? This searches for the next edge. Okay, this entire statement searches for the next edge. Plainly, don't worry about that. Write what they have given. Okay, let me write what they have given so that we'll get to know what is happening. Okay, what is the statement that clearly says? The statement says, okay, let me write this. X of k is equal to x of k. Look at this. Plus 1. Be careful with the way of writing it because you have to be careful. It's not k plus 1. X of k plus 1. So there's a difference. Okay, it clearly says x of k plus 1 modulus. Well, you know, you must be knowing what is modulus. Okay, it's figuring out my remainder aspect of it. Modulus of n plus 1. Okay, go here, check. It's basically n plus 1. Can I write the value here? Okay, so I'll be writing the values towards the right hand side. Okay, just to make sure that we have the statements intact. So what is the value that is going to happen? X of, what is x of k? K value is nothing but 2, correct? Equal to x of, what is it? K, again it is 2. Plus 1 they are saying. Okay. Then in brackets, modulus of n plus 1. What is n? N we have given number of vertices we have given is equal to 3. N has not changed. 3 plus 1, 4. Can I write this again? X of 2 is equal to, what is x of 2? Let me go back and check. Okay, what is x of 2? On top would have written x values, right? So what is x of 2? Let me go back. Check. X of 2 is nothing but equal to 0. Correct? 0 plus 1 modulus of 4. This is very much equal to what? 1 modulus of 4. 1 modulus of 4. You will not get any remainder because you can't divide 1. So what is it? It is nothing but equal to 1 only. 2 modulus of 4, 2, 3 modulus of 4, 4, sorry, 2, sorry, 3. Okay, see, 1 modulus of 4, 1, 2 modulus of 4, 2, 3 modulus of 4, 3, 4 modulus of 4 equal to 0. Don't write 4 because you don't get a remainder. It's nothing but equal to 0. Any number that is smaller than the number that is given here will be the same value. That will be the final value. So you see now the value is nothing but equal to 1. So what is the meaning of that? X of 2 is equal to 1, correct? Okay, x of 2 is nothing but equal to 1. So this entire statement clearly brings in only one thing. What is that one thing that it brings in? It says that x of 2 is equal to 1. That's all. Okay, the next statement, the next value of the things that are there in the statement. Okay, it says if x of k is equal to 0, return. To where you have to return? Where from where this function came? It came from h cycle. So you have to return there. Don't return to the main. Okay, you have to return there. So x of k is equal to 0. If x of k is equal to 0, let me check. Okay, what's the value that you have? X of k. So I'll write it here itself. If x of k equal to 0. What is x of k? What is k? First of all, x of 2 equal to 0. Check. Is there a condition here? X of 2 is equal to 0? Yes. No. See, x of 2 is nothing but equal to 1. Okay. Because previous value you got is equal to 0. No, this is false. So what is going to happen? The return statement will not be working. Right? The return statement will not be working. So what is going to happen? Okay. See, x of 2 is equal to 1. So here also I need to change. This has become 1. Should not forget those things. Okay. Small things. Should not forget. See, now it has become 1. Okay, what's the next statement? The next statement says if g of x of k minus 1. Well, this is a very big statement. Okay, it says g of, so let me write that also. Once again, see g of x of k minus 1 or plus 1. It's minus 1, then x of k. Minus 1, then x of k. What is this? G of x of k minus 1. K value is nothing but equal to 2. 2 minus 1. So x of 1. Okay. And x of 2. K is nothing but 2. So x of 1 and x of 2. Where x of 2? There's a comma in between. What is x of 1? X of 1 is 1. X of 2 is also 1. G of 1 comma 1. What is g of 1 comma 1? You need to figure it right from the graph. Okay, the adjacency matrix g of 1 comma 1. But these are continuous of the statement. Okay, see, if a g of equal to 1, is it equal to 1? Let me check. Okay, let me sort of figure out that. G of 1 comma 1. Where is it? We would have written. I think I took that off, right? Yeah. Is it first of all, g of 1 comma 1, it will become 1? No, I don't think so. It will become, see, there's no 1 comma 1 here. So it will be 0 only. So is this statement true? Which one? This one. Is this statement true? No, it becomes false. So if this become false, what will be executed? This entire thing will be skipped. Okay, this entire thing will be skipped. So what's the next thing? It will go to the next value again here. See, after this, where does it go? It will again go back. See, after this, see this. After this, okay, it will again, if this is this entire, let me show this like this. Okay, if this entire thing is false, if this entire thing is false, see, what are you going to do? You are going to go again. The next thing, see 1 and 2, 1 you check. So then you check for 1 and 2. If you check for 1 and 2, obviously you will be having, see this? Where's our graph? Yeah. If you go from 1 and 2, you are going to get our Hamiltonian cycle, the start of our Hamiltonian cycle. Okay, this is how it works. Of course, the entire tracing, if you do, it will keep on going like this. It will be going from main, then to H cycle, then to next value. Then again H cycle, next value, X cycle, next value. It will be happening basically like that.